Welcome to the Nordic Venture Show, your speed date with the coolest ventures, brightest founders, and exciting things happening in the Nordics. In this episode, our venture date is with Kapa.ai, instant AI answers for technical documentation.
Okay, so you know that feeling, right? You hit a technical snag, maybe a simple question, and suddenly you're hours deep in documentation, just wading through it all.
Yeah, like searching for a needle in a haystack, hoping for that one clear answer. It's frustrating.
Exactly. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into a platform that's trying to fix that. It's called Kapa.ai.
Right, Kapa.ai. We've been looking into it, and the whole idea seems to be providing instant AI answers, but specifically for those tricky technical questions.
Basically turning potentially massive amounts of technical knowledge docs, knowledge bases, that sort of thing, into an AI chatbot you can just ask.
That's the core concept, yeah.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack Kapa.ai. How does it actually work? What's its potential? Could it genuinely streamline how we get technical answers?
And we've looked at a fair bit, their website, product info, blog posts, even what customers are saying. It gives us a decent picture to work from.
Great. So let's kick things off with the basics. What exactly is Kapa.ai, based on what they say?
Okay, so they describe it as a platform that turns your technical documentation, your knowledge bases, into LLM-powered chatbots.
LLM, large language model, that's the AI tech behind things like, well, ChatGPT and others.
Precisely. But the key here is the focus. It's not a general AI. It's built for technical content. Their main thing is embedding an Ask AI assistant right where you need it.
Where you need it.
Like inside your product docs, maybe integrated into the software itself, support tools like Zendesk, or even available via an API if you want to build something custom.
Okay, so embedding it in the workflow.
Exactly. And they really emphasize that the answers are meant to be reliable, production ready, optimized for accuracy, which is obviously critical for technical stuff.
Absolutely. You can't have an AI just making things up when you're dealing with code or complex systems.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's the what. How does it actually do this? What's the process?
They lay out a pretty clear three-step process. First is connect knowledge sources.
Right. Got to feed the AI.
Yeah. And they claim to have over 40 technical source connectors, which sounds like quite a lot.
40 connectors. Okay, that implies they can pull from, well, lots of different places where technical info might live.
Presumably, yeah. Common doc platforms, maybe knowledge bases, developer tools, perhaps even code repositories, though they don't list them all out. It suggests broad compatibility.
Makes sense. Step 1, connect the knowledge. What's step 2?
Step 2 is deploy AI assistant. This is where that customized chatbot actually gets put to work.
Where we talked about embedding it.
Exactly. They give examples like website widgets, bots for Slack and Discord, their API, integrations with support systems like Zendesk, basically putting the AI where the questions are likely to be asked.
Okay, integration seems key. Get it right into the existing tools. And the final step?
Step 3 is turn chats into insights. This is interesting. It goes beyond just answering. They provide analytics based on how people are using the AI assistant.
So looking at what people are asking.
Right. The idea is to use that data to maybe improve the documentation itself, understand where users are struggling, enhance the user experience, maybe even inform product decisions based on common query themes.
So it's a feedback loop, almost, using the questions to improve the knowledge base.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk features and benefits. They mention accuracy.
Yeah, that seems paramount. They talk about explainable and accurate answers grounded in the source materials. That grounding is super important.
To avoid the AI just inventing things, hallucinations.
Exactly. Minimizing hallucinations is a stated goal. They say it's tested across many deployments. Linking answers back to the source builds that trust, which you absolutely need for technical accuracy.
Definitely. What else stands out in terms of features?
The integrations piece we touched on. Over 40 LLM-optimized connectors. The LLM-optimized part suggests they're tailored to feed data effectively to the AI models.
And they mentioned automatic refresh, right? Yes. Automatic refresh. That's potentially huge. Keeping technical docs perfectly up to date is a constant battle for most teams. If the AI can automatically ingest the latest changes, that saves a lot of manual effort.
That is a big deal. That's a real pain point. Okay, so lots of connections, auto-updating. What about getting it set up? Is it complicated?
They seem to emphasize ease of deployment. They mention off-the-shelf deployments and even one-click setups for things like website widgets or Slack bots. Seems like they want to lower the barrier to entry.
Quick setup is always good. And the analytics, we mentioned insights. What kind of insights are we talking about?
They call it an actionable analytics suite. It's about digging into user intent. What are people really trying to figure out when they ask the AI? This helps identify gaps in the docs.
So if lots of people ask about, say, specific configuration and the AI struggles or points to weak docs, you know where to focus your effort.
Precisely. It provides a direct line of sight into user friction points, which is incredibly valuable for documentation and support teams.
Okay. Now, technical teams often work with sensitive stuff, internal data. How does Kapa.ai handle security?
Security seems to be a major focus. They promote a secure-by-design philosophy, mentioning enterprise-grade measures and, importantly, SOC 2 Type 2 certification.
SOC 2, okay, that's a serious security standard, requires rigorous audits.
It does. It shows a commitment to data security and privacy. They also specifically mention PII detection and masking technology.
PII, personally identifiable information, so automatically spotting and hiding sensitive data like names or emails.
That's the idea. Vital if you're using it internally with company data or even externally where user queries might contain PII.
Good. And do they help companies get started as their support?
Yes, they mention end-to-end implementation success and support from their technical team help with setup, troubleshooting answers, custom onboarding. Seems quite hands-on.
Okay, so let's say it's deployed, it's running. What about managing it day to day? It can't just run itself forever, right?
Right, there's ongoing management. They provide a self-service platform for this. Part of it is managing those knowledge sources, making sure the connections are healthy and the auto-refresh is working.
Keeping the AI's knowledge current.
Exactly. Then you use the analytics dashboard to track usage, what questions are being asked, are users finding the answers helpful?
So you can see if patterns are changing or if new issues are popping up.
Yeah. And critically, the platform lets you identify those documentation gaps we talked about based on common themes in the queries. It also lets you improve the AI's answers directly.
How does that work?
If the AI gives an answer it's maybe uncertain about, or if a user flags an answer as incorrect, administrators can review it and provide corrections. This feedback helps train the AI to get better over time.
So it learns from corrections. A continuous improvement cycle driven by usage and admin feedback.
That seems to be the model, yes.
Okay, let's revisit those deployment options. You mentioned a few specific integrations. The website one sounded easy.
Yeah, the website widget, they claim it's embeddable with just one line of code.
Oh.
So a very quick way to get an AI helper onto your public-facing docs or site.
One line of code that's pretty simple. What about for internal teams? Slack and Discord.
They offer bots for both Slack and Discord. You can set them up to auto-reply in certain channels or only respond when someone specifically tags or mentions the bot.
So instant answers right within the chat tools teams are already using daily. I can see how that would save time.
Definitely. Cuts down on interrupting colleagues or digging through wikis for common questions. Could be a real productivity booster for dev teams or internal support.
And for more traditional customer support, you mentioned Zendesk.
Yes, a Zendesk app integration. The goal there is to reduce the number of tickets human agents have to handle directly. The AI can tackle the more straightforward, repetitive questions.
Letting agents focus on the tougher problems.
Exactly. Improve response times, handle more volume, standard AI assist play for support desks, but focused on technical questions.
And if those options aren't enough, or if you want to build it into your own app.
That's where the API comes in. They provide an API for developers who want to build custom integrations or embed the Kapa.ai capabilities more deeply into their own products or internal tools. Gives you flexibility.
Seems like they've covered most of the common places technical questions pop up. Now, that secure by design aspect, especially for internal use, can we dig a bit more into the specifics beyond SOC2? You mentioned PII anonymization.
Right. So beyond the SOC2 audit, the PII anonymization is key. The system is apparently built to automatically find and mask or remove personally identifiable information.
From both the documents it learns from and the questions people ask it.
That's the claim, which is vital. Right. If you're pointing it at internal wikis or handling customer support queries, you need strong assurance that sensitive data isn't being exposed or improperly stored. This anonymization layer is crucial for that trust.
Absolutely essential for enterprise adoption, or really anyone handling private data. Okay, let's shift to impact. They share some customer stories. What results are companies actually seeing?
They have some pretty strong testimonials. For instance, Rusty Wilson, VP of Support at Sonatype, apparently said Kapa.ai is the only LLM-based system I trust for customer interactions. That's a powerful statement.
Especially for customer-facing AI, trust is everything there. Who else?
Shimal Anand from OpenAI's Applied AI team commented that Kapa.ai demonstrates how far you can push these domain-specific state-of-the-art AI systems. So recognition from AI leaders about its socialized capability.
Okay, so it's good at its niche.
Seems so.
Mm.
And Soren Schmidt, the CEO of Prisma, directly compared it to a general model, saying Kapa.ai is much better at answering questions about Prisma than ChatGPT is.
That makes sense. Training on specific Prisma docs versus the whole internet. You'd expect better focus.
Right. It highlights the value of that specialized training data. And they have some numbers, too.
Ah, quantifiable results. Like what?
David Schroeder from Mapbox reported a 20% monthly reduction in support tickets after implementing Kapa.ai. That's significant.
20% reduction, wow.
And he also mentioned it handles over 80% of their developer questions now. Again, really taking a load off the support team.
80%, that's huge. Any other examples?
They mentioned Docker, who apparently has 13 million monthly visitors to their docs using Kapa.ai. Circle CI saw a 28% improvement in response times. And Red Panda saw usage of their AI assistant grow 5x in just 5 months.
Those are impressive numbers across different scales and types of tech companies. Suggests it's providing real value.
Yeah, the testimonials and stats paint a compelling picture of efficiency gains and user adoption. And it's not just about text deflection. There's positive feedback on the quality of the interaction, too.
Like that tweet you found.
Exactly. A user named Matt tweeted about Prisma's Kapa.ai implementation, calling it truly revolutionary.
What did he like so much?
He asked a technical question, and the AI didn't just give the answer. It also provided references back to the source documentation and mentioned related future proposals or changes.
Oh, interesting. So context and even a look ahead.
Yeah, he basically said other tools should take note. That level of transparency, showing the source, plus the forward-looking info, adds a lot of value beyond just a simple answer. It builds confidence.
That reference linking seems crucial for technical users who might want to double-check or go deeper. Okay, shifting gears slightly. Kapa.ai also runs a blog. What can we learn from their own writing?
Their blog definitely reinforces their focus. For example, a recent post from April 2025 talks about using Kapa.ai with Apache Superset. That's an open-source data visualization tool. It shows how they're applying this to improve community support in open-source projects.
So not just for commercial software docs, but community support too. Interesting angle. What else?
Another post from March tackles a tough problem. Using LLMs on really dense, long technical documents like 1,000-page PDF manuals for semiconductors.
Ah, yeah, the kind of docs nobody wants to read cover to cover.
Exactly. They discuss why generic AIs often fail there and hint at their own techniques for making that kind of content accessible via AI. It shows they're thinking about the really hard edge cases in technical information.
That's a significant challenge in certain industries. What about the AI tech itself, R?
Right. They had a post in February about modular RAG with reasoning models. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation.
Retrieval Augmented Generation. So the AI retrieves relevant info before generating the answer.
Basically, yes. It grounds the AI's response in specific information pulled from the knowledge base rather than just relying on its internal training data. It's a key technique for improving accuracy and reducing those hallucinations we talked about.
So they're actively working on and writing about advanced AI methods to ensure answers are factual.
Seems so. And linking back to accuracy, they had a post back in November 2024 specifically titled AI Hallucinations, Why Large Language Models Make Things Up, and How to Fix It.
Directly addressing the elephant in the room for AI.
Yeah, and they apparently outline 9 technical strategies they use to combat this. It reinforces that accuracy and reliability are core concerns they're actively engineering solutions for.
Good to see them being upfront about the challenges in their approaches. Any other notable blog topics?
There was one on RAG best practices, also from November 2024, drawing lessons from over 100 technical teams they've worked with, mentioning big names like OpenAI and Docker again. Suggests a wealth of practical real-world experience.
Learning from actual deployments.
And one more from March 2024 focused on optimizing technical docs for LLMs. This shows they're also guiding customers on how to structure their content to get the best results from the AI. It's not just about the tool, it's also about the input.
Right, garbage in, garbage out still applies, even with smart AI, so they help with the garbage prevention part too. Okay, this has been a pretty thorough look. Let's try to synthesize. What's
Yeah.
the main takeaway here about Kapa.ai?
I think the core message is that Kapa.ai is a very focused AI solution. It's not trying to be everything to everyone. It's specifically designed to tackle the challenge of accessing and understanding complex technical information quickly and reliably.
Using AI chatbots trained on specific, curated knowledge sources rather than the entire web.
Exactly. And the goal is to deliver trustworthy answers right within the user's workflow.
And the key benefits that seem to come out of this approach, based on their claims and customer feedback.
Well, the big ones seem to be significantly faster support response times, a real reduction in the volume of support tickets needing human eyes, better productivity for developers and other technical staff because they aren't getting stuck searching for info, and just generally a much smoother, less frustrating experience when interacting with documentation.
Making docs less of a barrier and more of a readily accessible resource?
That seems to be the aim, yeah.
Okay. So, to wrap up our deep dive today, here's something to think about. Consider the technical questions that slow things down in your own work or your organization. The routine ones, the tricky ones. What if they could be answered instantly, reliably, by an AI assistant trained on your specific knowledge?
Yeah, what bottlenecks could that actually remove? How much time and frustration could that save? It's an interesting potential shift in how technical knowledge is managed and accessed.
Definitely food for thought. If any of this sparked your interest and you deal with technical documentation or support challenges, maybe check out Kapa.ai's website, perhaps look into a demo, and see if it might fit your specific needs.
Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or your favorite app, and connect with us on LinkedIn for more stories and insights.